What's good, everybody? You rocking with your boys, All Rights Reserved. This is the authentic state of Florida versus Micheal Boatwright. We first mentioned about the depositions. What I'm talking about now is the foreign names on it in detail. Now, these three names I've never seen before in detail as far as other than a witness list. But it makes me question, why isn't the other witness who claimed to have seen it on this? You would think they would cover all their mistakes in a sense, but like I mentioned in the live earlier, if you missed it, about there being a probable deposition involving another three names. Now, they're following up after in November with another three names that differ. Are one of these individuals going to give up the tea? So this is smart. Think about it. If I speak to you and your guy and you don't give me the information I want, that means I'm going to move abruptly to ask the same questions as someone else. If someone else delivers me the information I want to see, that now puts you in danger. That now puts what you spoke on in harm. As you hear, they're playing my Italian music, the mafia music in the background. Shout out to the team, love, charity, esteem. It's such a bright day, such a beautiful time. We're speaking on the art of law. The art of incident in which they're looking, my friend. You see, there was certain things given up and not done a certain way. And this leaves a wide open gap for them to question and get the answers they need. They've already linked most of the dots, believe it or not. Now they need proof behind these dots that's linked. See, suspects don't have to come out and snitch for them to show something's wrong. They're going to take that per se verbatim to the situation. So if this suspect's behaving a certain way and he's not behaving like other guilty suspects I've seen in my 10 to 20 years of tenure, it's going to make me question the situation. It's going to make me pull out a lot of jewels, just like fine Italian cooking. It's going to make me get into the turmeric. It's going to make me bring a little bit more basil, and I'm going to sprinkle salt 2 times instead of once. It's going to allow me to help the tomato simmer a bit longer. No chunks. It's gonna melt in your mouth. That is like fine dining. The same way I'm gonna dine finely off of these suspects, bringing in the witnesses to confirm what the witnesses said. See, suspects are taken guilty. I know it's innocent until proven guilty, but you're taken in guilty. Whether they collected your DNA or not, that's someone's mistake. But at the end of the day, I'm going to use these witnesses to confirm or deny what it is you're telling me happened or didn't. It's that simple. It is an art to it. Sadly, we have pictures of Robert Allen that surfaced outside Riva Motorsports. We didn't look at the date, or was there a date even on the photo? They took him in. Dedrick D. Williams. The story was a little bit confusing. They said he went to a store, came back with the mask. Then they said, oh, Riva Motorsports sells neoprene masks. We still haven't figured out the mystery of the neoprene mask. You see how a little misguided we are there? Oh, he got it from the store, whatever. So he got his mask from the store and he ran up and did it himself. We don't even have photos of Robert Allen and Dedrick D. Williams leaving the store. They only enter. We don't even have X exiting the store. We don't even have the witness named Victor there doing anything he said, following X around the store, laughing at his joke. He even said he was laughing at his jokes. But he's a cartoon. He can leave his eyes outside and run inside. He's a different species. He's a level of transformer we haven't seen before. He claimed to have heard everything that happened while running inside. In the midst of running, he was so conscious that he knew exactly what happened outside. Now, why'd he say there was a struggle for the bag and we don't see a struggle on camera? That's very questionable. I'd only question investigators on why they let that slide. You can't tell me it was Victor with the dreads you now have on the witness list. Because the Victor we seen show his face and speak with the fake news anchor, the pseudo news anchor we called it, very questionable. So how is the state going to approach their questioning in order to get the outcome that they desire without throwing investigation under the bus for a bad investigation in the case we're looking at? It really has to make you think. It has to make you say to yourself, Where is our law system going to? How are they now looking at cases? Is this now a mafioso situation where I watch his back, he watches mine, dealing with the suspects? It looks like the lawyers can be conversing. You have one guy hiring experts. You have another guy questioning the witnesses on the witness list. I don't know what Mr. Allen is doing. Trayvon Newsom is sticking to the mafia code of some mafia. He's dead silent. He's not saying nothing. He's like, I ain't speaking, I ain't whispering, because technically, let's be honest, what do they have on Trayvon Newsom? You ever think about that? What do they have? Is it phone records? What is it? What do you have on Robert Allen? No, even greater than that. How did you know to go to Atlanta for Robert Allen than to show up in New York for Trayvon Newsom? How'd you know that? Oh, you knew Dedrick was down the street. How'd you do that? Micheal Boatwright arrested before he even became a suspect. How'd you know that? I'm not getting the vibe that these guys spoke on each other. I could be wrong. This is being objective. But the way this case is unfolding, it doesn't look like they're willing to tell anything. They want evidence to speak for itself. The same evidence we expected investigators to get, but they end up finding it in the back of a grandmother's car. Isn't that beneficial? Then they request DNA after finding the evidence. That's confusing. It goes against Florida state law. Are these suspects going to walk? And is someone else going to go down for the count? And by that, I mean, are one of the witnesses on the witness list being suspected of being the actual perpetrator? This is very curious. There are a lot, I mean a lot of witness list names. You guys are talking about time. Just to question all these witnesses, time makes sense. There's a lot of witnesses, guys. A lot. So my question is, why were we not seeing all of them on video? And do they have to do premature to the case and post case? Very interesting. We don't know where anyone fits in until we see depositions being confirmed and finished up. That is how we'll know. All of this is a curious situation, and it makes you think, where is our law system going? Where does Florida law go from here? Guys, I've seen threats that were sent to many different people. The question is why? For what? What did it amount to? Why? What was motive? I myself have dealt with people trying to go back and forth. Why are you in my DMs and no one else's DMs? You're very suspect. I can only hand you off to who looks at who's suspect. We can only look up your record, look at whether you're getting off on cases. Hint, hint. If I see you getting off on cases, I can only presume you're telling on someone. Especially if you're still screaming that life. You're not getting a break on weapon charges. You're not getting a break on drug charges. That's not happening. So you're either telling or you're in cahoots with someone. It's either or. And in cahoots can mean subcategory. You're benefiting someone in another way. You're giving money to someone in another way. They need you to do something in their favor. That's not the same as the benefit part, because benefiting means having you out there on the street benefits them because you're bringing other people in. AKA, you're telling on people. Is that what I'm supposed to presume? Just because someone says F12, that could be a cover-up. We know that. That could simply be a cover-up. And the way some people looking, if I ask certain people and they do not know of these people, that tells me you weren't around long doing what you're doing. That adds confusion to the mix, which tells me you may not authentically be in that position. You have to be known. And there are certain people that can declare it. I mean, if you're claiming to be in a gang and an OG doesn't know you, who are you then? The same thing as if I claim to be at a spot and no one ever heard of me, how can you really say I'm at that spot? I would be unknown, right? If I'm flying under the radar, I could be to myself. But at the same time, when you're living a fast life, that's very rare. It's hard to do so. Do I know of guys that have done it? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that's how everyone can get away with it. There's a certain persona and aura that comes with that. And I'm not smelling that on a lot of people I interact with. Truth be told, Where's the law system going to? These depositions are in motion with way different names than I suspected, which makes me suspect a lot of things and makes me very confused at what I'm looking at. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. As always, you know how I rock. Your favorite rappers time, your favorite movie stars time, your favorite celebrities time. All rights reserved, in the building, and accounted for. Shout out to CommenterNation, Grace Nation, United Nation.